So many people showed up, and so give us a couple of minutes before we get started.
the Deputy Director of Organizing at Girls for Gender Equity. We're based in Brooklyn. And we fight for the rights and bodily autonomy of Black women and girls and gender nonconforming youth, right? So let me tell y'all a little bit about why we're here today. So in 1994, a group of Black women got together because they decided that Roe was never enough, right? And those Black women coined the term reproductive justice, right? And reproductive justice has three core tenets, right? The right to have a child, the right to not have a child, and the right to parent our children in safe and healthy environments. And we are still here today, over 20 years later, asking for the same thing, right? Access to abortion. Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild? But do you all know who June Jordan is? Does anybody know who June Jordan is, right? June Jordan was my favorite Black feminist, and she was born and raised in Brooklyn, and she wrote a poem called "I Must Become a Menace to My Enemies," right? And so what I believe is we gotta be a menace to our enemies, and our enemies is anybody that's attacking our reproductive freedoms. And I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic over to my lovely MC. Here's Brittany.
Hello, everyone. So excited, so excited for everyone to be here. This is what democracy looks like. This is what it looks like to bring people together for a shared purpose. We know that reproductive freedom is not only possible, but it is our current reality, and it's going to stay that way. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the land that we are standing on. Today we are gathered on the unceded indigenous land, specifically the homeland of the Munsee Lenape peoples. We acknowledge the genocide and continued displacement of indigenous people during the colonial era and beyond, and now. This island of Manhattan has long been a gathering place for indigenous people to trade and maintain kinship ties. Today, these communities continue to contribute to the life of this city and to celebrate their heritage, practices, traditions, and care for the land and waterways as sacred. We are on indigenous land right now, and it feels especially important to know that we are fighting for bodily autonomy, that we are fighting for self-determination in this time. So I want to thank you all for showing up. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here. So thank you for choosing us and choosing this issue. Okay, all right, so let's chant a little bit real quick, all right? So, which chant are we doing? Okay, right, so I'm gonna say it's call and response, so we're gonna say this is what democracy looks like, and you're gonna say it, and we're gonna say it, and we're gonna get mad hype, right? All right, cool. So, this is what democracy looks like.
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 All right, and then we're gonna do another one. This one's my favorite one, y'all. So it's another call and response. What do we want? No. What do we want?
What do we want?
Okay, and then we're gonna say repo justice, right? Okay, what do we want?
Repo justice.
What do we want?
Repo justice.
What do we want?
Repo justice.
If we don't get it, all right, now that you know it, you can hype up a little bit. Act like you want your reproductive freedom, y'all. Come on. What do we want?
Repo justice.
What do we want?
Repo justice.
What do we want?
Repo justice.
this time, in this moment.
That's right. Hey, everybody. My name is Liz Winstead. I'm with the Abortion Access Front. We're an organization that is made up of artists and comedians who build platforms for the people that you don't hear too much about. We like to give voice to the abortion funds, the practical support funds, the RJ leaders, the independent abortion providers, and everybody who's working in this movement who is actually doing the real work and who is invisible. And so it is our job, especially my job as somebody who has walked this earth with privilege, to make sure that you know that they exist. We'll be talking a lot about them today. But we're here today because nobody was, if you were surprised that this happened, God help you and your life. We knew this was going to happen. We didn't know it was going to sneakily happen. And now it is up to all of us to not only march, to not only rally, to not only gather, but to learn all of the avenues with which we can protect abortion access, center those providing it, and make and sustain our activism. Are you going to commit to do that today? Because coming here and going home ain't a thing. It's just not a thing. If you've had an abortion, if you know someone who's had an abortion, if you use birth control, if your power lies within those kind of decisions you made, it is your responsibility to make sure that who is ever coming up behind you has access to every single path of their self-determination. This access to abortion has not been available for most people in this country, even with Roe v. Wade. It has not been happening for Black and brown and BIPOC folks. It has not been happening for queer folks. It has been happening for a small few, which is why it is so important that when we talk about reproductive justice, we follow the leadership of Black women. We follow the leadership of Latina women. Because this world ain't right if they're not leading it. So, on that note, I'm going to turn it back over because I think you're going to do our fine choir, correct? Okay, good. We're really good. We got it going on here. Okay, I wasn't sure. Sorry, guys.
All good, all good. I realized that I didn't introduce myself. My name is Brittany Brathwaite. I use Hershey, like the chocolate bar, as pronouns. I am the co-founder and co-director of Kimbertive, a sexual wellness platform unapologetically working towards sexual wellness for Black women and girls, also in Brooklyn. What better place is there? And a community organizer. I also want to shout out all of our organizers, storytellers, folks, speakers today, and thank them for showing up. I'm talking about this is rapid response. If you're organizing, you know how that works. And thank you all for showing up. So our first group that you're going to hear from is actually from the Broadway show SCOTUS.
Hello, New York! Hi, everyone. My name is Shayna Taub. I'm the author of the musical SCOTUS, playing right now at the Public Theater, and these are members of our cast. Every night on stage, we tell the story of the American women suffragists who fought for the rights of women 100 years ago with banners, much like that one those good folks are holding right now. They fought tirelessly for the rights of women, and one of the questions, one of the messages that they held on their banners way back 100 years ago in front of the White House was, how long must women wait for liberty? And unfortunately, that's a question we're still asking. How long must women wait for liberty? How long must women and our non-binary and trans siblings wait for bodily autonomy and the right to make our own choices about our own lives? So I'm so proud and honored to be a part of this with members of our cast. We have a show a couple blocks away in a few hours, but we knew we wanted to come here and show up for the cause. So we're going to sing a piece of a song that we do every night in solidarity with the movement for abortion access and reproductive rights. This is How Long?
How many more marches in the streets? How many more efforts gone to waste? How many more deafening defeats? How many more histories erased?
How many more dignity
won't wait another day. We won't wait another day.
We won't wait another day.
We won't wait.
We won't wait. We won't wait another day. We won't wait another day. We won't wait another day. We won't wait. We won't wait. We won't wait another day. We won't wait another day. We won't wait another day. We won't wait. 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 We won't wait.
Can we hear it again for stuffs? Yeah, I like that energy. Okay, so I'm going to now introduce Pastor Kaji Dosha, who's the pastor at Park Avenue Christian Church, actually my church, and a member of the Planned Parenthood Clergy Advisory Board, and Rabbi Stephanie Colin to give an invocation.
I realize that there are some people who have been talking on behalf of the God that many of us love. People who have been talking on behalf of the Jesus I follow, and I just want to say that co-opting, the lies that you have been told by so-called faith leaders do not speak for us. Do they speak for you? No. We are here to offer a blessing on this time, no matter where you come from or what you believe. Feel the love that is amongst us right now. Rabbi Colin.
Thank you, Pastor. I just want to come here and say I'm here as a rabbi, I'm here as a Jew, I'm here as a mom who carried my child, my daughter, and I believe that we must be working so hard right now to protect the rights to abortion and reproductive justice. I want to tell you something about Jewish tradition and abortion, and it might not be what you expect to hear. Jewish tradition has a deep and empathic conversation, an ancient conversation about the right, the ability, the need for abortion in this world and among people who are pregnant. Jewish tradition concerns itself with a pregnant person whose life or health is at risk, not only that they might be permitted to terminate their fetus, to terminate that pregnancy, but at times it is required that they must, to save and preserve the life of the pregnant person. Jewish tradition concerns itself with the mental health of a pregnant person who might not be able to or ready to or want to bring a life into this world. Jewish tradition concerns itself with life, the life of the living people here among us who are siblings and cousins and friends and loved ones. And I will tell you that not only if this decision comes into being as it's written now, not only are religious rights at great risk for all of us, for the Jewish people and beyond, but we also know that this law, these laws, this overturning of the right for an abortion is going to hit most people of color and poor people and the most vulnerable people, and my Jewish values do not permit me to stand idly by when that happens. And so all of us are here to fight together, to work together, to make sure that these laws are not overturned. Pastor, the story is long, and it is not over yet.
Amen. So I invite you, thank you, Rabbi Colin, I invite you all to join me in a spirit that calls on a power beyond what we could even gather in this short time. Will you please assume a posture of sacredness? Holy One, how long? How long will we have people who stand before us and try to lead us into our own peril? How long will the people who kidnapped my ancestors still try to put under their boot. How long? How long will the systems of injustice lie and tell us that justice is being served when all they want to do is control? But God, we know. We know that they will not win. We know they think they've got us by the necks, and in some cases they do. But let us proclaim in this space right now that those chains are breaking, that this movement will not stop. We are just getting started.
Yes.
And we will not turn back. Bless us. We are weary. We are mad as hell. But we will not go back. We won't 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 go back. Amen.
Tish! Go Tish! Woo!
Sorry, man, I meant to put that up.
No problem.
The next person that we have today is a special guest who has decided to stand with us. And even though ain't nothing funny about today, you do know this person because of their background in comedy. So today I'm going to introduce Amy Schumer to come talk to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for coming out. We're gonna keep showing the fuck up and they know it. I just wanted to say real quick, the Supreme Court is going in the wrong direction. Women want more rights, more access to abortion, more freedom, not less. And John Roberts and his court are spitting in our faces right now. He's all about the integrity of the court, but not about women's integrity. And I tell jokes, but this court is a joke. This country overwhelmingly supports abortion rights. The decision to overturn Roe is radical and outrageous, and we're mad and we're gonna fight the fuck back. Now it is my absolute honor to introduce your next speaker. She is taking Trump to task right now more than anyone. She fights against these bans on an international level. Please give it up for Attorney General Tish James.
My body, my choice, my body, 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 my body. Listen, I am the Attorney General of the state of New York, but I love a good rally. So this is a call to action. This is a 5-alarm fire, my friends. This is a time to act, and this is not the time to be silent, because silence is the enemy right now. So we've got to be angry, but we've got to take that action, take that emotion and turn it into action. Because right now, we stand at a critical juncture. We stand together on the front lines of one of the greatest fights that we will ever have. And my question to all of you is, are you with me? It's a fight that's going to take all of us to win. And I'm here to say, we will not go backwards. We will not go back into those days when we use wire hangers. Not now, not ever. The right to control our bodies is a fundamental right enshrined in the 14th Amendment. And if they go after this right, who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? That fundamental right is the reason why individuals can marry who they want. It's the reason why the members of the trans community can play games, they can go to the bathroom of their choice. It's the reason why black and white and Latino and Asian people can marry in between fundamental right, the 14th Amendment, that fundamental right. And so, I will not allow Justice Alito or any other judge on the Supreme Court to dictate to me or to you how to use your body. I will not allow Justice Alito to dictate to me my future, my destiny. It is not in the hands of the United States Supreme Court. It's in our hands. And ladies and gentlemen, and for all of those who are on the fence, please understand that there are laws in 26 states that will criminalize reproductive freedom. Laws that will deputize private citizens to take action. Laws that provide no exception for rape and incest. And so, my question to you is, are you going to allow that? My body. My body. So we need to organize, and we need to be mobilized, because every person in this nation should have the freedom to control their own body and their own health care. And Republicans cannot talk about freedom on one hand and then take away our freedom in the very same sentence. And who will be hurt the most is people who look like me, poor people and people of color who don't have funds to travel from state to state to state. But I want individuals to know in those red, deep red states that New York is here for you as well. New York is a place that serves as a beacon for the nation. And it's enshrined in our Constitution, and we're lucky. But we've got to think about all of those sisters in all of those red states where they want to strip away their rights, where they want to criminalize their conduct, where they want to take away their freedom, where they want to dictate their future. And I say, hell no! Because as long as one person lacks freedom, then all of us lack freedom. Are you with me? Are you with me? It is a fundamental right, and don't get it twisted, even though the United States Supreme Court may get it wrong. And that reality, my friends, is truer and truer. But the reality is we've got the power. We've got the power because women across this nation, regardless of your political affiliation, we represent the muscle in this nation. And when women exercise that weapon, when women exercise that muscle, when they strengthen it, when they enlarge it, there's nothing that can be defeated in this nation if women stand together, shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm, with no space between us. Yes! It's the legacy of Ruth. There's a reason why we are here. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And we've got to remember that legacy and that history. And so, New York will establish a fund for a procedure that will pay a fund that will establish funds for individuals who wanted to come to New York for a procedure. And we will cover other expenses for getting here as well. Because New York will always provide access in the state of New York to anyone, to anyone to anyone a place where people are free. And I want all of you to know, as a former city council member many moons ago, I came to this issue in a very personal way. I was in this place. I was just elected. And I was faced with the decision whether to have an abortion or not. And I chose to have an abortion. I walked proudly into Planned Parenthood. And I make no apologies to anyone, to no one, to no one. And all of you also know that I am a woman of faith. I go to church. But my God teaches me all about love and acceptance. And my God teaches me about privacy. And my God says that you've got to make the best decision for your body and your life. So I make no apologies to no one. None. And that's why, as the Attorney General, I fought for this right, and we've won this right, and I stand with you and will stand with you always. It's our right under the law. And the issue that we are confronting is old and as human society, because none of us can take this alone. And on days like this, it's so important to remember that we, women, we are the majority. And most women and most people believe in the right to choose. Let me say that again. Don't get it twisted. The majority of Americans believe in the right to choose. And that's why we're urging the United States Senate to pass the law to protect this right. And to support candidates who are pro-choice. And that's why it's so important, my friends, to elect Democratic attorney generals who get it. So I want to conclude with the words of a young woman from Texas, home of some of the most regressive and harmful anti-choice laws. Her name is Paxton Smith, and she was the valedictorian of her high school last year. And she defied her school's administration to speak out against her graduation. And Paxton said, I have dreams, I have hopes and ambitions. Every girl here does. We spent our whole lives working towards our future. And without our consent or input, without our control over our futures have been stripped away from us. People like Paxton in Texas, that's who we're fighting for. Little girls like that. People like Paxton are why we will never, ever give up. You better believe that I'm going to continue to fight with all of you. And you better believe that we need to stand up against those right-wing ideologues and let them know it's our body and our choice. And it's important that we continue with these types of actions until that decision comes out. And I want you to know that we can turn it around. And if we can't turn around the United States Supreme Court, let us turn around this country. Let us vote. Let us vote. Let us vote. And let our voices be heard. And let people know that New York is an access state. And that New York is a beacon of hope. And that reproductive rights is a fundamental freedom that we will not allow for the United States Supreme Court to trample on. My body, my choice.
right, we're just going to remind folks that after you speak to please exit the stage from the left and please move back so we have some space. And then now we're going to introduce the next speaker.
Thank you. Tish James, everybody! More of that, please. More of that, America. More of that. I also want to remind people that if we don't say the word abortion, we cannot defend it. Let us not talk in euphemisms. We absolutely want to say today, abortion is a moral choice. It is an ethical choice. It is your choice. There are no good abortions. There are no bad abortions. There is only the abortion you need. Full stop. No caveats. That's it. I'm so thrilled to bring up our next speaker, who is a member of the New York State Nurses Association. Please welcome Nurse Sarah Dowd.
Hi, how you doing? My name's Sarah Dowd. Like she said, I'm a nurse practitioner at Kings County Hospital in Brooklyn. I'm a proud member of the New York State Nurses Association, New York's largest union for nurses. And I'm also a proud member of the Democratic Socialists of America labor union. As I'm sure you can see, I'm also very soon to be a mother. My hope for this child is that she can grow up in a place where a politician does not determine what medical care she has access to. But those of us that have been in this struggle, those of us that have seen the horrors of the American healthcare system, know that this is not just a fight over rights. The same powers that would revoke the right to abortion are in bed with the very people that make getting a perfectly legal abortion difficult for working class and poor women in the first place. That's why this is not just a fight for rights. This is a fight against the economic abuses the working class has been subjected to by a wealthy few since the inception of this country. Employer-based healthcare ties reproductive health care access to the workplace in a way that guarantees the bosses still have power over us, despite having the legal right to abortion, a right that's now under threat. What is the answer? Somebody already knows the answer. The answer is not just that politicians do not get to decide when and where I have the right to access health care, when and where I get the right to have access to abortion. The answer is not just that nonprofits fill the profound gaps in access to abortion where they exist. The answer is health care for all. Yeah! Complete health care for all. Yeah! Regardless if you're getting an abortion or having a baby. Yeah! Regardless if you're part-time, full-time, or completely unemployed. Yeah! Regardless of your socioeconomic status or the color of your skin. That's right. I'm proud to see you all out here in the streets today fighting for what we deserve, especially my union brothers and sisters. Thank you for being here. We have the power. We have the power in the streets. We have the power at work. And when we fight, we win. Yeah!
All right, I'm ready to teach y'all another chant. Do we want another chant? Okay, so this is another call and response. So we say when repo rights are under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. Oh, y'all know this one. Oh, all right. When repo rights are under attack, I said call and response, y'all. It's okay. Okay. When repo rights are under attack, what do? When repo rights are under attack, what do? What do? What do? I can't hear y'all. It don't sound like you want your reproductive freedom. So like I said, when repo rights are under attack, what do? What do? What do?
abortion rights. As a reproductive justice activist, it means so much to be able to partner with our state and local officials when we're talking about abortion. We do not, I don't take for granted that we are in a place where we can say abortion, where it's in our city policies and you say abortion, where our city agencies say abortion. So I'm honored to bring to the stage New York City Council Speaker Adrian Adams, First Deputy Mayor of the City of New York, Lorraine Grillo, and Kathy Garcia speaking on behalf of Governor Kathy Hochul.
Hello, New York. I'm Kathy Garcia here for Governor Hochul, and I went to bed last night shocked that we actually are going to have to get up today and fight again. I feel like I have been marching for something that should be a right for every woman, the right to have an abortion, since I was a teenager. And that in my lifetime, I would not have to be still fighting for my reproductive rights, but now fighting for my daughter's reproductive rights, for her right to make choices about her future, about her right to get the medical care she needs and have no one get to tell her what to do. And over the last 50 years of Roe v. Wade, we've actually seen many other countries give more access to abortion, give more reproductive health rights. And what we've seen in the United States of America is it rolling back and creeping back. But I am telling you that in the state of New York, we are going in the opposite direction. We welcome people to the state of New York to make sure they have access to an abortion. We have realigned our clinical standards on abortion so that you have the proper care. We've made it so you can do it with telemedicine. We have made it so that we recently signed into law the right to have it in every single health care plan, including Medicaid, in the state of New York with no cost sharing. And I stand here knowing that the power of everyone in this plaza, in this state, is going to stand up for women and stand up for individuals and ensure they have access to abortion or the health care and reproductive health care that they need. And so I am really excited to see the power of all of your voices and to be here with all of my colleagues from all levels of government, because it is when we stand together that we are able to actually achieve great things. Thank you very much. I'm going to introduce the Deputy Mayor, Lorraine Grillo.
Thank you. Thank you. New York City, can you hear me? Yeah. Now make sure they hear you all over the U.S. And most importantly, make sure they hear you in Washington, D.C. My name is Lorraine Grillo, and I am the first Deputy Mayor, and I'm here to represent our Democratic Mayor, Eric Adams, and all four of my deputy mayors. The right to choose is a fundamental right enshrined in law that was settled 50 years ago. I want to make it clear, New York City and New York State will always respect and honor the right to choose, the right to privacy, the right to abortion.
I'm a social worker, to keep those feelings, right? But what I would like to invite you to do is to listen when folks speak. I know you feel how you feel, but it's also not easy to get up here and talk about abortion. It requires extreme bravery, and you're gonna feel how you feel, and that's cool. I feel how I feel too, so my request is that you let folks speak. Can we do that? Can we do that? I bet. I'm gonna hold you to that.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I'm just going to say we must stand together. Right now, Roe v. Wade is still the law of the land. Abortion is still legal, and people should continue getting health care, making appointments, and getting the care they need. This is a crucial moment, and as the mother of 3 daughters and 1 granddaughter, I will not stand by while the rights my generation had are dismantled and carted away by conservatives and their enablers. Are we going to let them deprive us of our power? No. Hell no. 1,000 times no. But we're going to have to work hard, and we're going to have to work together and work the system. Are you ready? Ready to fight for the rights and freedom that every American deserves, regardless of gender, race, identity, or income, because we are the majority. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. As you can hear from my posse back here, we come council strong today. We come council strong representing the first majority women-led city council in the history of this city. And we want the hundreds of you, New Yorkers, who are standing up for the freedom of women, not just in New York, for the freedom of women across these United States of America, to know that we are not going to turn back the clock today. We're not turning it back today. We're not turning it back tomorrow. We're not turning it back next year for 9 individuals that think that they can control millions and millions of women across these United States. So as I stand here with my council members, we stand proud to represent women and the reproductive rights of all women in the United States. Councilmember Hudson, Councilmember Lewis, Councilmember Nurse, Councilmember Botcher, Councilmember Stevens, Councilmember Rivera, Councilmember Osei, Councilmember Ressler, Councilmember Velasquez, Councilmember Williams, Councilmember Abreu, Councilmember Joseph, Councilmember Evia, Councilmember Krishnan. City Council, New York. It's a different city council when we have a woman in leadership and the men that get it. It's a different day for New York when we stand up in unity as one voice for one people, for the strength and the rights of all women in this great country, for we are already great. We didn't need anybody to take us back someplace else. We stand here, and I stand here before you as a graduate of Spelman College and one who worked at Women's Health Center in Atlanta, Georgia. Standing as a 20-year-old advocate for women who demanded their rights, and advocates like myself who made sure that they had their rights, made sure that they had their medical information, and made sure that they had a hand to hold if they needed an abortion. And I tell you, as a 20-year-old student, I held the hand of classmates who had a choice. And their choice was over their own body. Their choice was as a woman, not as a man that did not understand the equipment that it took to get them there in the first place. I stood there representing low-income white women who had 5 and 6 children, who could not afford another mouth to feed and that were afraid to go back to the husband to tell them that they were pregnant. I stood there for all women. Stood there, held a hand and felt like I'd gone through every last procedure with them because it's their body. It was their body, not a man's body, but it was the woman's body, and we protect a woman's right to choose. So we're here to tell those 9 individuals on the United States Supreme Court, you are just but 9. You are not the millions, and you are not the majority in this country who have a right to freedom, reproductive freedom of their own bodies, and you will not take them back. We refuse to go back to the days of the hangers, and I see one out there. We're not going back there, my sister. We're not going back there. We are not going back to doctors and crazy people that women would pay money to ruin their bodies, yes, and maybe even to kill them. We are not going back there to torture chambers. We are not going back. We are standing forward. So we are looking forward ever, backward never. We protect the rights of women. And I will conclude with this. We are now looking at a deplorable turn back of Roe v. Wade. A disgraceful turn back of Roe v. Wade. Something that will tell us as women that our bodies do not matter, whether or not we are abused, whether or not we are raped, whether or not we are trampled on. Our bodies do not matter. Well, we are here to stand up strong, New York, and the hundreds of you standing here before me, we will never go back. Justice Alito, if you're listening to us, we want you to hear us very, very clearly. You may be a Supreme Court justice, but we still are supreme over just us and just our bodies.
Okay, my body, my body, my body. I really cannot hear y'all, and that's wild to me. So I'm gonna say this again. My body, my body. I like that. When repo rights are under attack, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? When repo rights are under attack, what do we do? What do we do? I love that. So I wouldn't be myself if I didn't acknowledge the feelings in the crowd, right? So we feel a way because we have a mayor that wants a police state. And hold on. When we talk about criminalizing abortion, who are the people that carry that out? The police, right? That's why we feel the way today. Am I wrong? Who goes and picks up the people who are getting abortions? Who arrests them? Who takes them to jail? Who intimidates them? All right now. So when we say abolition, it inherently means repo justice. So that's why we boo. So not only only do we deserve reproductive justice, but we deserve a mayor that is not trying to funnel all of our money into a police state. I hear you. I hear you. So now I'm going to introduce you to your next speaker, a wonderful, wonderful advocate for reproductive justice. Alana, can you come talk to us, please? My body? My body?
No justice? No justice? No justice? New York City, you look incredible today. Give it up for yourselves and give it up for our organizers. My name is Alana Pilar Castillo, and I'm with the New York Immigration Coalition. We're the country's oldest and largest immigrant rights coalition with over 200 members across the state. We've been fighting for more inclusion and more resources for immigrants and first-generation families from Rochester to Rockville Center, Syracuse to Staten Island. So if you're an immigrant, let me hear you. Our agenda fights against systems of white supremacy and oppression that reinforce a second-class citizenry based solely on where you were born. Patriarchy is another one of those systems, am I right? And patriarchy manifests itself in so many of our daily interactions, including this persistent will by some people in power to undermine our bodily autonomy. And since our phenomenal Attorney General kicked us off, I'm going to be vulnerable with y'all. When I was 22, I had an abortion. As so many people here today have already said, it is important to name these experiences so we can destigmatize. So we can destigmatize what is an extraordinarily common procedure that people all over the globe deserve access to. If you've had an abortion or someone you know has had an abortion, please make some noise. An unwanted pregnancy as a young adult would have jeopardized my personal, professional, and financial independence. The decision to have an abortion was mine alone, without the interference of government and courts, and every single person deserves that right. I'm extremely proud to be a New Yorker, where New York has codified this right, but so many others will not have these protections according to this memo that was leaked. And too often, as has already been stated, it is low-income, Black and brown people that are disadvantaged by these policies and already marginalized in so many ways, right? Because of race, because of their naturalization status, because of what language they speak, the list goes on and on. So I just want to reinforce today that the NYC is committed to reproductive justice, access to all healthcare services, and ensuring that these decisions, like my very own, are made by the individuals, their families, and medical professionals. Thank you for your solidarity. Thank you for your rage. Thank you for speaking out. Have a good one. Thank you.
We're going to keep it moving for the sake of time. Next, we have a phenomenal speaker from the National Latina Institute for Reproductive Justice, Elizabeth Estrada.
How are y'all feeling today? ¿Les puedo hablar en español? ¿Cómo se sienten? ¿Enojadas? Are you pissed off? If we don't get it, deja introducirme. Mi nombre es Elizabeth Estrada, soy la gerente de abogacía y campo de comunidades latinas. Me pongo a pensar en la historia de las puertorriqueñas que fueron esterilizadas en la isla. Me pongo a pensar a las personas robadas de África y en Caribe. Estos insultos a nuestra comunidad han sido existentes por décadas. No es nuevo para nosotros. El movimiento quizás a veces no se parece como esas personas negras, latinas, inmigrantes, pero estoy aquí para decirles que este movimiento es de nosotros. Tenemos el lugar para estar aquí, para usar nuestras voces y para no parar de joder hasta que nos den la justicia reproductiva. Reconozco que hemos oído hablar de muchos políticos hoy, pero las pólizas no son la única solución que podemos traer adelante. ¿Cuántos de ustedes han hablado con sus seres queridos sobre por qué apoyan el aborto? Si ustedes apoyan el aborto y quieren despenalizar el aborto, tienen que hablar con sus seres queridos y decirles orgullosamente: yo apoyo el aborto. Y si no conocían a alguien que tenía un aborto, ahora sí la conocen. Usen mi historia si ustedes quieren, si la necesitan, para poder desestigmatizar el aborto, porque empieza el cambio en nuestros comedores, en nuestras salas, con conversaciones íntimas con nuestros seres queridos. De ahí nos agitamos y luego vamos a la calle como ahorita estamos aquí para joder. Ahora les quiero preguntar si ustedes conocen las clínicas falsas. No, ¿verdad? Quizás muchos de ustedes no. Bueno, se van a encabronar. Clínicas falsas son sitios donde les mienten a las personas embarazadas para que puedan evitar abortar si quieren. Y eso lo vivimos en el Bronx todos los días, porque si primeramente una de las barreras para salir de tu propio hogar para acceder al aborto es el estigma, si sales vas a tener que enfrentarte con clínicas falsas. Entonces, en cada paso, las comunidades inmigrantes latinas, negras, vemos tantas barreras a acceder al aborto. Entonces, hoy estamos aquí para decir que la justicia reproductiva y este movimiento es para las latinas. Ahora, la Attorney General Tish James estaba hablando un poquito del fondo de aborto que estamos tratando de pasar con la senadora Biaggi, que nos va a dejar oportunidad de donar a un fondo de aborto aquí de Nueva York para ayudar a la gente a acceder por gratis el aborto, porque sabemos que mucha gente, basado en el dinero que tiene en su bolsillo, no puede acceder. La gente pobre no puede acceder al aborto, pero nosotros decimos ya basta. Entonces, con orgullo estoy aquí con mis colegas y mis aliadas para decir: la justicia reproductiva es para nosotros, no vamos a parar de joder hasta que la tengamos completamente. No dejemos de olvidar que las personas sureñas en esos Estados Unidos son las personas que han vivido un post-Roe America. Entonces, tenemos en nuestro corazón las poderosas de Texas, de la Florida, de Virginia, y les mando mucho, mucho poder. Gracias.
Thank you. How y'all feeling? Are y'all cold? Of course not. We never get cold. So I'm going to bring up our next speaker, but before I do that, one, I want to say, if you have feelings, I expect to see you at another type of rally, of course, because that was my thing. You got feelings, I need to see you there. And then my second part is that abortion rights and abortion justice is a deeply intersectional issue, right? And so when we're talking about abortion, people of all genders have abortion. You heard me? Folks with all immigration statuses have abortion. You heard me? Folks with disabilities have abortion. You heard me? So we're showing up for everybody today, all right? All right? All right? Anti-Violence Project.
Thank you all for being here. As she said, I'm Bev Tillery. I'm the Executive Director of the New York City Anti-Violence Project, or AVP. We work to address and end the violence that the LGBTQ community members are impacted by, all forms of violence. And today, I'm here to call out this potential Supreme Court ruling for what it is. It's state violence against our communities. This is an assault not only against our reproductive rights and freedoms, but our dignity. Individual autonomy is a human right. Healthcare is a human right. The decisions that we need to make about our healthcare need to be left to ourselves. The parents, families, doctors, governments have no right and business in interfering in these matters. The LGBTQ and HIV-affected communities that we work with are cis women, trans men, non-binary and gender non-conforming people who all need access to abortion. Many in our community experience sexual violence and intimate partner violence. If Roe v. Wade is overturned, the most vulnerable in our communities will be at risk for even more violence. We know that this draft opinion continues the dangerous trend that we've been seeing in our community across this country that criminalizes the most marginalized in our communities simply because we're willing to stand up to be who we are, because we're willing to make critical decisions about our own health and well-being. Along with the anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ legislation that are sweeping this country, that we are seeing in numerous states, in Texas, in Florida, and other states across this country, a reversal of Roe v. Wade would criminalize thousands and thousands for seeking essential care and will criminalize the healthcare providers that are delivering that care. And on a personal note, as a mother who also in her 20s had an abortion when I needed to, and who has a 16-year-old daughter who one day might have to make the decision that she needs to have an abortion, I want to make sure she continues to have that right. And in 2 years, she will be making a decision about college, and I do not want that decision to have to be based on where she can get the health care that she needs safely. We are standing here with you today, and we will not back down. We will not stop. We are coming back. We'll be here over and over again. And when we ask you all to come out and support the trans kids and the queer community who are also under attack, will you be here? This is all of our fight, and we will not back down. Thank you.
That was so amazing. Thank you so much. All right, we got one more speaker for you all today, but y'all know me. Y'all know if I come up here, I'm gonna ask you to do what? Chant. Duh. So I want y'all to tell me what chant you want to do. What's the spirit? What's the spirit of the crowd? Anybody?
My body
No justice, no peace. Oh, no justice? No justice? No justice? No repo justice? No repo justice? Oh, okay, y'all wanted to do that. I heard that one. So your next speaker today is Becca Asaki. Yes, okay, Becca Asaki is going to come up and close us out.
Hey everybody! My name is Becca Asaki. I'm the New York Organizing Manager for the National Asian Pacific American Women's Forum. Where are the API folks? I see you out there. Let me hear y'all. And I, like so many who have come up today, love many people in my life who've had an abortion. The news of the Supreme Court's draft opinion yesterday reverses the protection that has afforded millions of Americans freedom and security, legal access to abortions. The effects of this extremism are devastating. But the truth is, reproductive justice faces greater peril now than at any moment in the past half-century. Anti-abortion bills are sweeping the country and threaten the life and liberty of every person who can get pregnant. This is especially true for low-income people, people of color, and immigrants, especially those without status. And at the intersection of these communities is one group that is too often forgotten, but is definitely strong out here tonight. I see you all. My family, my community, Asian American and Pacific Islander women and girls. Already, today, the path to abortion is arduous for Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. It is filled with language barriers, with cultural stigmas, with low access to insurance coverage for a lot of us. And we, as Asian Americans, are overrepresented in frontline, low-wage jobs that make it really difficult for us to get the time off that we need and the money for transportation or overnight accommodations that typically are necessary when we have to travel to get an abortion, like so many will if this ruling is exactly like we've been seeing. And in fact, today is Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Equal Pay Day. What does that mean? That means that today, this is the day in this new year that Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islander women finally catch up to our white, male, non-Hispanic counterparts. Today. That ain't right. Right? So this Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Equal Pay Day, we're here to say that economic justice is reproductive justice. Everyone, and I mean everyone, should be able to parent their children in a safe and healthy environment, and wage gaps hold our families back. We need equal pay so that we can access critical health care and services. And as abortion bans force people to travel for essential care, as I was saying, it becomes a really stark difference between abortion access that for those who have money and those who don't. So we can't fight for human rights without defending abortion rights. And we know that it is the same people determined to ban abortions who are also working to reverse other advancements for the LGBTQ community, for bills limiting our right to vote, everything. And anti-abortion activists, they won't stop now, but neither will we. Right? Although
rights in our, fighting for abortion rights in our courts is shrinking, we can still protect abortion access state by state right here in New York. Right? We offer a model for how we can protect our communities and how we can help our neighbors fleeing abortion restrictions in their states. And this year we joined the Latina Institute and so many other great repro organizations up here to pass the Reproductive Equity Act to mandate abortion coverage for private insurance plans. It is still possible to win greater rights and greater access for our communities. No matter what the Supreme Court decides, we will continue to fight for our rights. But you still might be asking, okay, who's going to make sure that the women and pregnant people of color get the support that they need regardless of their insurance, their immigration status, their income, the language that they speak? Well, look around. The answer is us. We need to stand together to fight until we're able to access abortion in this country, across the country, without any legal, financial, language barriers. And these kinds of decisions, they're meant to immobilize us with fear. But we know that reproductive justice is a human right. And we ain't going anywhere.
How y'all feeling? Great, because we were just kidding about this being almost over. Okay, so we're going to hear from the Revival Resistance Choir, the Resistance Revival Chorus. I love alliteration. It took me so long to learn how to say my own name, so working on that. And then we're going to hear from a few speakers after that, so no one go anywhere. And so first, I'm going to introduce the Resistance Revival Chorus, which is a group of women and non-binary singers who use joy as an act of resistance. And we need lots of joy.
Good evening. Good evening. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. We're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Oh, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. We're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Oh, ain't gonna let injustice turn me around, turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let injustice turn me around. We're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Oh, ain't gonna let sexism turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let sexism turn me around. We're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. I ain't gonna let misogyny turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let misogyny turn me around. We're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. I ain't gonna let the Supreme Court turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let the Supreme Court turn me around. We're gonna keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. I ain't gonna let the Supreme Court turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let the Supreme Court turn me around. We're gonna keep on walking, keep on walking, keep on talking, keep on fighting, keep on marching, keep on talking, keep on fighting, keep on walking, keep on talking, keep on marching, keep on fighting, keep on walking, keep on walking, keep on talking, keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. We are the resistance without voice. Keep on walking, keep on walking, keep on
All right, y'all. So, remember when I told you that reproductive justice is an interconnected issue, right? And so all around the country, we've been seeing this thing called unions popping up everywhere, right? We love a union. And basically what we need to understand is that repro justice is a deeply economic issue, right? It has to be anti-capitalist at its core. It has to be. It has to be. And so today, somebody said louder, I love your energy. Thank you. So today we have Janella from the New York City Central Labor Council to talk to you.
Hey family. It is my honor to be here with you. There's no other place I'd rather be. And as the Secretary-Treasurer of the New York City Central Labor Council, I represent all of labor, along with my partner, Vinny Alvarez, all of labor in New York City. So first I want to shout out our family in DC 37. We have NYSNA, we have 1199, PSC, and UFT in the House, along with many other working people, right? And I want you to know that working people in organized labor are outraged by what we have seen on the internet in the last couple of days. But it's time for us to stand up and make sure that our voices are heard, right? And our history as union members reminds us that every right we've ever gotten, we've gotten because of collective action, we've gotten because of struggle, right? Everything we've gotten. The constitutional right to privacy is intended to ensure that anybody who wants an abortion can get one. That is the goal, because abortion is health care. Abortion is health care. Abortion is health care. These people want to take away the rights of people who have the opportunity to be pregnant. And as was said so eloquently earlier, they may be targeting women, but we know it's not only women who can be pregnant. We know that this attack on healthcare is about fighting against workers. This is also about voters' rights. This is also about trans rights. This is also about how we're treating LGBTQ people. This is about how we're treating immigrants. This is about how we're treating young people. This is about attacks on our public education system. It's about the unhoused. It's about the poor. It's about the voiceless. But we here today, we are standing together, and we're going to keep on walking. We're going to keep on talking, and we're going to keep on fighting, and we're going to keep on agitating. We're going to keep on moving to ensure that we get the legislation we need to make sure that abortion is the health care that is protected for every person in this country. Know that labor stands with you. Labor stands. We are standing together, and we're going to fight this fight together. Thanks, everybody.
When women's rights are under attack, what do we do? When women's rights are under attack, what do we do? When repo justice is under attack, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so the one thing I like doing more than talking about abortion is funding abortion! You get an abortion! You get an abortion! All right, so it's a pleasure for me to bring up Chelsea, Maddie, and Julia of the New York Abortion Access Fund.
Oh my gosh, what a beautiful crowd. Woo! There is so much beauty in our collective power, and we're so glad to be with you tonight. My name is Maddie. I'm Chelsea. And I'm Julia. We are part of the New York Abortion Access Fund. And our mission is simple. We fund abortions. We support anyone who is living in or traveling to New York who needs an abortion and can't afford it. We have existed for over 20 years and we are not going anywhere. We are a group of volunteers, and every day we hear from callers who are facing barriers to getting an abortion. Our role is to meet people where they are and to show up with compassion and with trust. With our community, we can move resources boldly so that people can get the care that they need and the care that they deserve. We are a part of a network across the country of abortion funds who make abortion access possible, and we do this work despite bans, despite the Supreme Court, despite abortion stigma and inaction and neglect from politicians. And I want to say, too, that here in New York, there are far too many people who are falling through the cracks already. Every day, we support callers from a wide variety of experiences. We are supporting trans and non-binary callers. We support people who are impacted by our unjust prison system. We support people who are facing our city's affordable housing crisis, domestic violence survivors, working parents, young people, sex workers, and undocumented folks. And we believe fundamentally that justice emerges when we have what we need to live with dignity, all of us.
All right, y'all. So, I woke up this morning feeling probably like a lot of you did. Angry as fuck, but also heartbroken, right? And I'm really grateful to be in this space with all of you, but I'm especially sending love to folks who've had abortions, folks who are about to have abortions, right? And folks who will have abortions. You hear me? So I've had more than one abortion. I've had abortions within us. And I say that for the first time publicly with pride, knowing that we got us, right? So here's what we know, right? We know that we're gonna continue getting abortions, right? We know that Roe was never enough. The Supreme Court was never enough. Folks who are low income, folks living in the South, folks in the Midwest have been living in a quote-unquote post-Roe world for years. This ain't new. And here's what we also know. We know that we're not surprised. We know that RJ, reproductive justice leaders, have been sounding the alarm for years. We knew that this shit was coming. We knew it. We're here. We're ready.
abortion is accessible to everyone without stigma or shame. But in the meantime, we will keep showing up for people every single day who call us, and we need your help. You can help us in 3 ways. First, by donating. We need your money. We gave out over $400,000 last year to directly support callers seeking care, and we will continue to do so. We need volunteers. We all are a fully volunteer-run organization, and we need your help to answer calls, to talk with callers, and to help fund abortion. And finally, we want you all to join us in chanting, "Who's got us? We got us! Who's got us? We got us! Who's got us? We got us!" Thank you, everyone.
Go ahead. Come on. Okay. A little louder. Come on. We got us. We got us. We got us. I love it. I love it. I love the energy. You all have been out here for some hours, and I really appreciate you for being out here because this work is long and hard, and we're going to hear from a couple of more speakers today. Thank you. Come on. We've been talking a lot today about the fact that Roe is going to fall, right? But you know what really needs to fall? White supremacist, imperialist, capitalist patriarchy. That's what needs to fall, right? A lot of things in this country need to fall, and that's what our focus needs to be on. So the next person I'm going to invite to the stage is Sonia from Now NYC.
Hello, everyone. Wow, this is such an amazing sight. You've given me hope. Today has been such a tough day to see all of you here. But this is just the start, right? It's just the start. We've got to keep this energy up. And I know we've been here before, but now it really, really counts. We've got such amazing organizations that you've heard from here that are right here in New York City that can give you a home. Whatever type of work and activism you want to do to push us in the right direction, it is here. I'm with the National Organization for Women of New York City, the birthplace for Now. And we welcome you to join us in this fight because we've got to do a few key things. We got to be loud and proud, just like we are today. Every day we got to do it. And we'll be there to help you take it to them. We got to make sure to elect the right people, the right leaders who are going to stand up for our values and our lives. You've been with us when we've gotten on the bus to go in all different directions to make sure that happens. We've got to keep doing that. We've got to think about the long game. You can participate in any way you would like. If you've got skills, bring it to us. Please visit our website, nownyc.org, to find out how you can get involved. Tomorrow night, we're having a Zoom meeting. That's just the start. We're back in person. Just remember, this is the most significant setback for women's rights in the history of this country. We've got to turn it around. We've got to go state by state to make sure that family and women and people who need abortions are able to get the care that they need. Because bans don't prevent unplanned pregnancies. Bans don't give families the money they need to be able to raise a family. Not at all. So thank you so very much. Let me ask you this. What do we want? When do we want it? Yeah, woo! Thank you.
Thank you. How y'all feeling? All right, I'm glad everybody's still energized because we have more speakers. All right, I'm also going to, on that note, ask our speakers to please keep your comments to 1 to 2 minutes. Yes, I got the yes. All right, so our next speaker is Dina Hadhood from Malika.
My body? My body? Thank you. My name's Dina, and I'm a Queens resident. I'm a repro organizer, and I'm the programs manager at an organization called Malika. Malika is a New York City founded movement led by women and non-binary folks across the globe who teach self-defense, healing justice, organizing, and financial literacy, right? So you might be asking, what does this have to do with repro rights, right? Self-defense and everything we do is about bodily autonomy. It's key that we defend our bodily autonomy, not just from physical attacks, but from legal and systemic ones as well. If we want to build a more just world, a world where we can thrive, step into our power, build safety for our communities, we need to demand an end to these constant attacks on reproductive freedom, and not only stand against a potential SCOTUS decision, but also think about the current access and lack of access to abortion we currently have, right? So I know I was asked to be quick. I'd like to share a quick quote by one of my favorite writers, Andrea Gibson, who says, "Any feminist who has ever taken the high road will tell you that the high road gets backed up, and sometimes we have to take a detour directly to outrage to get things done." So I want to thank you, all of the organizers of this rally, for creating a way for us to channel that rage and that energy that we all have. 4 years ago, I was actually in this same exact spot collecting signatures, right, against the confirmation of Justice Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court, right? So we've been out here. Yeah, and the chant at that time was Kava no. So when I say Kava, you say no. Kava? No. Kava? No. Right, so we've been out here, and I just want to point that out, right? Because we're going to continue to do this work up until this decision, after this decision, and we're not going to stop, right? Until we continue to fight for reproductive justice and we continue to fight for self-determination for our community. So thank you so much.
All right, so we're gonna hear from our next speaker, Sage from New York City for abortion rights.
Every person has the right to abortion, not just women. Every person. It will be remiss of me not to mention the importance of uplifting Black, Indigenous, and people of color right now. It will be remiss of me not to mention the importance of also uplifting trans, non-binary, and queer people, as well as undocumented people. It will also be remiss of me not to mention that the police presence here today is so harmful, since the NYPD on more than one occasion has protected pro-lifers, or antis as we call them, who have harassed clinic workers and patients. There is no reproductive justice without racial justice, and there is no reproductive justice without trans and queer liberation. Our struggles and our pain are intersectional. Everyone here right now, my question for you is, what will it take? People should have been uplifting reproductive organizations that have been doing this work for decades. People should have already been radicalized. Clearly our vote is not working, since this shit in the Supreme Court is already taking place. We clearly see that politicians don't protect reproductive rights, and Democrats won't save us. You know who is preparing for this? Local reproductive organizations. We must take direct action. Organize and build community so we can get to revolution. If you cannot take direct action, then support your local abortion mutual aid fund. If you cannot take direct action, then amplify clinic defenders, clinic workers, and the voices of patients. This isn't to be punitive or harsh. We need to build community capacity, and we need to stop being reactive and start being proactive. Since 1973, when Roe v. Wade was voted in, 47 countries have legalized or decriminalized abortion. Last year alone, Argentina, South Korea, and Thailand legalized or decriminalized abortion. This year, Colombia has decriminalized abortion. How did they get their rights? They fought. They didn't stand around and rally. They fought and took their rights. They left their government no choice but to give people legal health care and a human right. Yet here we are in one of the most developed nations in the world, and we're reversing time, taking away life-saving medical procedures. No matter what it takes, we won't stop until we have a right to abortion to stay. Thank you.
That was so beautiful. Y'all heard them. They said get organized, right? What are we gonna do? We're gonna get organized. Yes. Wherever you are located, whatever your field of work is doing, do something for reproductive justice today, tomorrow, and the next day. When I started this rally, what did I tell y'all? We must become a menace to our enemies. They can't know no peace. And so it's a beautiful time to remind the doctors, the clinicians, the healthcare workers that they also need a reproductive justice framework analysis, right? Just because you're a doctor don't mean that you are inherently a doctor in service of reproductive justice. And so today we have somebody who is a doctor and wants to stand for repo justice. Dr. Anna Rossler is going to speak.
Okay, hi everyone. I am Dr. Rossler, a resident physician at Jacobi in the Bronx, and a proud member of my union, the Committee of Interns and Residents, SEIU. We represent more than 20,000 resident physicians across the country, and right now we have all been shaken to our core. We are angry, we are tired, we are worried for our patients, and we are worried for all our members and all healthcare workers who provide abortion care. First, I'd like to tell all OBGYN physicians, abortion providers, and other staff who support women's full access to reproductive health care that we stand with you. Every single service that we provide is life-affirming care, and I commend you for doing the difficult work you do in an environment that often condemns us. As a physician, our responsibilities to patients go far beyond doing no harm. Our responsibility and the collective responsibility of all healthcare providers is ensuring that all patients can access the information and care that they need to ensure their well-being and that of their families. This means ensuring safe, affordable, quality health care for families, including access to abortion. As a pediatric physician, it isn't uncommon for me to encounter patients who have experienced guilt, who have felt a sense of stigmatization, or have struggled after having an abortion. From a healthcare perspective, this also directly impacts women and families' mental and emotional health. When we limit the full spectrum of healthcare services that directly impacts the well-being of our communities and unfairly cast the blame on women, it fosters inequity and limits the protections that we have fought for decades. The fact of the matter is that the actions of the Supreme Court affect much more than just abortion rights. Overturning Roe v. Wade could potentially criminalize people from many states, including my home state of Indiana, just for seeking health care or providing it. The constant regulation of women's bodies, autonomy, reproductive freedom, and access to health care is an issue that all physicians can directly impact. I choose to support a healthcare system that allows us a full access to the healthcare we need so that we can have healthy families and communities. We will not be silent. We will not rest. Our patients deserve better. Our communities deserve better. Our country deserves better. Abortion access is healthcare access. And to say that I am saddened could not be more of an understatement. We are enraged and we will fight for what is right together. Thank you.
When repo rights are under attack, what do we do? When repo rights are under attack, what do we do? What do we do?
providers, our healthcare providers, our abortion escorts, right? Folks every day providing care for folks who have abortions. And as Bria said to our clinicians, people self-manage abortions, so do not call the police. That is not your job. Hello. Your job is to support folks in having and getting abortions. Thank you so much. So now we're going to hear from Viva Ruiz and Thank God for Abortion.
That's right! I don't know if you can hear these air horns. Okay! We are Thank God for Abortion. That's right, we're the party people. I've had multiple abortions, God loves me. Do I look ashamed? Nope. We represent all kinds of people. We are queer, we are non-binary, we are trans, we are BIPOC-centered, we are poor-centered. Okay, I'm gonna ask God to tell me what to say. Maybe I should have written something, but you know what? I believe in God, that's the truth. I believe in God. I have an incredible life today because of the 2 abortions I've had. That's my story. What do you think about that, TGFA? You know what, pro-choice is all right, but have you tried pro-abortion? When I say pro, you say abortion. Pro. Abortion. Pro. Abortion. When I say pro, you say abortion. Pro. Abortion. Pro. Abortion. We don't have any kind of shame about this today. We don't have to be polite. We can just say it. We're going to say it plain. We got to say it plain. Okay, we only have a couple of seconds up here. So what's important? Let me see. You know what? It's an opportunity. It's a shitty day. I felt terrible today. Right? You did too. But look, I have pom-poms in my hands. Because it's a good day. It's an opportunity. It's an opening to welcome people into the movement. It's your time. It's your time. Okay? We've been at this. So many of us have been at this. Come join us. We welcome you. It is your time. Be loud. Follow the leadership of abortion clinics, providers, and the people who have abortions. How does that feel? Try that on. This abortion bans is class war. That's what it is, right? Okay, so I'm gonna leave you with a blessing. Here, you know what? Trans rights are inextricable from abortion rights, right? So let me introduce my friend Scout Silverstein, gonna say a word about that.
Hi, I'm Scout. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a transgender and intersex policy advocate. So speakers today have already made really great points about trans and disabled people having abortions too. I wanted to take a moment to also point out how disabled and intersex people are also often sterilized without consent, typically at young ages. There are no laws in the United States currently granting reproductive autonomy to these populations. When we talk about the fight for reproductive justice, we must understand that disabled and intersex lives are also disproportionately impacted.
That's right, baby! Okay, that's what we had come to tell you. We tell you that we love you. I wish you every blessing. God loves you. God loves us. God loves abortion. Thank God for abortion. You know what? Let's go on. Thank God for abortion. Thank God for abortion. Thank God for abortion. Thank God for abortion. Thank God. Thank you.
That was so amazing. I want to just thank you all for that. There's so much on my heart as I keep introducing these speakers, but I think I'm thinking about the fact that the United States Supreme Court has no moral authority. None. whatsoever. And a country with some of the worst birth outcomes cannot tell you what to do with your body. Y'all are so funny over here. I love it. And so next up, we have Donna Lieberman for the New York Civil Liberties Union.
My body! My body! My body! Yeah. We're here to stand with women, girls, transgender and non-binary people from Texas, Mississippi, all over the country. For abortion justice, for reproductive justice, for equality. You know, for decades, we've looked to the courts to vindicate our rights. But if this leaked opinion becomes final, this Supreme Court will be responsible for the most significant assault on women in history. Let's remember, this court has already demonstrated their disdain for racial equality by gutting the Voting Rights Act. And we know all too well that they have in their crosshairs, remember they like guns, they have in their crosshairs the rights of LGBTQ people, especially trans youth. They have in their crosshairs marriage equality, access to contraception, and just about every principle of equality Americans support. But we're not just going to stand here and watch. We're going to turn our outrage into action. We're going to protect women in New York and welcome women and girls and trans people from all over the country so that they can get the health care here in New York that they need that they can't get at home. You know, we fought for over a decade to pass the Reproductive Health Act in New York, and we won. We won because New Yorkers know that abortion is health care. New Yorkers know that health care is a right, and we believe in freedom and justice. And because of the Reproductive Health Act, in New York, Roe v. Wade is state law, no matter what the Supreme Court says. That's right. In New York, abortion is a fundamental right, period. But now that's not even enough. We need to do more. We need to pass the Equality Amendment. The Equality Amendment to the New York Constitution will enshrine that right in our state constitution so it can't be taken away or criminalized. We also need to put our money where our values are and fund abortion without questions, without conditions. This isn't the first time New York is being called on to open our doors. We did it before Roe, and we will do it again. Remember, till that stupid opinion becomes formal, abortion is still legal everywhere in the country.
release whatever opinion they release, and we'll keep fighting afterwards. Guys, this is the fight of our lives. Today, thousands of us across the country are in the streets. But tomorrow, we'll flood the phone lines, we'll take to the streets again, and most important, we will turn out to vote in the by-elections as if our lives depended on it. Because guess what? Our lives depend on it. And we won't rest until women's fundamental right is restored, not just in New York, but nationwide. My body, my body, my body. Okay.
Support clinic escorts in New York City.
Yes! Yes! Okay. All right, y'all. So it's deeply important in this movement that we hear the stories of folks who have had an abortion. Abortion storytellers move this movement. So I'm going to introduce an abortion storyteller, Athena, who's going to share her story with us. Thank you.
Y'all are loud. Hi. I'm too tall. My name is Athena. I had an abortion when I was 17. I found out I was pregnant my first week of college, shortly after moving into my dorm. I'm not sure I can fully describe the feeling. Thinking you're on the cusp of adulthood, just starting to put your foot in the water, only to immediately fall into the deep end. Right away, even through the initial shock, I knew abortion was the right choice for me. I felt peace and relief that what I thought was the hard part, the making of an impossible decision, was over. But I had no idea how difficult it would be to actually enact my choice. At that time, in Massachusetts, where I was in school, you couldn't get an abortion at 17 without parental consent. So without a car, without a job, without a support system in Massachusetts, it took me and my boyfriend almost a month to be able to purchase bus tickets to take a Peter Pan bus to Connecticut to get an abortion pill. It was only 3.5 weeks, but it felt like eternity. The world was moving so fast around me. My roommate was making friends and joining clubs, and I was trying to hold myself together for just a pair of bus tickets. And despite all of the planning and all of the work and missed classes to finally make it to a Planned Parenthood, thank you, Planned Parenthood, we found out at my appointment that I was a few days too far along and that we would have to figure out how to come back across state lines for a D&C at a later time. When I first heard what was happening in Texas, I broke down because I understand from experience exactly how helpless it feels to be forced to walk through fire to execute a lawful right to choose. And now, with the leaked SCOTUS opinion, I knew I could no longer stay silent because my experience is the experience of far too many people in this country, and all of our voices have a right to be heard. No one should have to fight for autonomy over their own body. No one should have to cross state lines to get an abortion. Reproductive agency is a human right, and we have to stand up to protect access to abortion care for everybody. Thank you.
Please give it up one more time. It takes so much courage to tell your story. Thank you, y'all. All right, so the next speaker we have today is Joy Calloway from Planned Parenthood of Greater New York.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Everybody! No more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking. Time for thinking ahead. Wake up, all you teachers. Time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what we have to say. Wake up, all you builders. Time to build a new land. I know we can do it, but we all must lend a hand. The world ain't gonna get no better if we just let it be. I said the world ain't gonna get no better. We have to change it, yes. You and me. I'm not gonna say good evening, I'm just gonna say hey. I am Joy D. Calloway. I'm the interim chief executive officer of Planned Parenthood Greater New York Action Fund. I usually go to work and say I woke up like this, but today I woke up in shock. It's like I was in a time warp. Those lyrics were 47 years ago, and I'm repeating them today, and they apply today. We are at a crisis moment, people. I said we are in a crisis in this moment. This devastating and politically motivated Supreme Court opinion is a roadmap, a cookbook, a how-to dismantle our fundamental right to a safe and legal abortion. This is a fundamental right that was codified federally 49 years ago. And with a leak and a slip of the pen, it's about to be gone. We are in a crisis. This court is completely prepared to end the constitutional right to an abortion. Let that sink in. This is not hyperbole. This is not hypothetical. This is not could happen, could not. This is happening, and it's happening now before our very eyes. Right now, our deepest fears are being realized right now. How did you feel when you woke up this morning? This outcome is as dangerous as it is unprecedented, and this will open the floodgates for all of those states that just been itching to take this away, itching to change this. And make no mistake, this is just the beginning. They got a whole list of things they want to do. The next thing is a nationwide ban. You all saw the WAPO article yesterday. Anti-abortion groups and their cronies in Congress have been meeting in secret behind the scenes to plan a national attack on abortion rights. And my notes say, when the Supreme Court rolls it back, come on, y'all. It says if, but we know it's when the Supreme Court rolls back abortion rights. We know our narrow-minded politician friends are going to try to take power in Washington, and we know they're going to start pulling this apart across the entire country. Is that what we want? I say again, wake up! 26 states are ready to immediately ban abortion. The second Roe is overturned. Not the next week, not the next month, not the next day. The second this decision comes out and Roe is overturned, 26 states like dominoes are going to fall. Are we happy with this? Let me be clear. Abortion bans are designed to deny Black, Latinx, Asian, Indigenous people our right to control our bodies and our futures. These bans disproportionately harm people who are in lower incomes and cannot afford access to health care already. So this is just going to make it work. Wake up! Abortion bans are a perpetuation of racism, sexism, misogyny, economic injustice. It's just a sign, and it's the top of a slippery slope, y'all. But let me be clear, today, what's this, May 3rd, 2022, abortion is legal. Today, abortion is legal. It remains our constitutional right. And thanks to reproductive rights champions across this great state of New York, it is codified in our state constitution here in the state of New York. And while you celebrate, and I hear my drummers, this is not a time to rest. This is a time to wake up and to mobilize and to make sure that we let people know that anything less than complete access to an abortion to whomever wants it, whenever we want it, is the only thing that we're going for. Complete access to whomever wants it, whenever they want it. We here in New York, and I say that proudly, this isn't my home state, but my home state is one of those domino states, so they don't get a call out tonight. Here in New York, we must do everything we can, everything in our power to protect and expand access here for everyone who needs us, and those that are going to unfortunately have to travel across state lines, like the young sister that just spoke, so that they can get essential and basic health care, because abortion is health care. And health care happens at Planned Parenthood of Greater New York. We are incredibly proud to be part of a strong coalition of essential abortion healthcare providers, and we will continue to fight to keep abortion safe, legal, and accessible. We are proud to provide abortion to everyone who needs it, New Yorkers or not, and today is the day. We must wake up. We must do something different. We must let our voices be heard. We must make sure abortion is safe and legal across these great United States of America. After you wake up, I need you to lead and lead loudly. Thank you.
Abortion is health care. I mean, we're out here to make it abundantly clear. Abortion is health care. So we're getting to the end of our program. I want to take this opportunity to thank every single person that showed up here today. Like we said when we began, you could have been anywhere in this world, but you decided to join us out here. And I do not take that for granted. I'd also like to thank the person, one of the best organizers I know that is the reason why we're here. Sasha Ahuja. It is not easy to get folks to show up and show up. And so I want to thank Sasha and all the organizers that got together and answered the call and said, yes, we will do this because it is important to us. A few notes before we peace out. One, a reminder, abortion is still legal in this country. If you have an appointment for an abortion tomorrow, go. 2, environmental justice is reproductive